Ha guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Anonymous scout reveals why no one wants to meet the Warriors in the playoffs following a narrow 115-0 victory against the Detroit Pistons on Saturday night. The Golden State Warriors now sit at 36-28 and the 6th seed in the Western Conference standings. They are currently only 3 wins behind the Houston Rockets for the 5th seed and having W9 of their last 10 games. Golden State continues to improve upon the middling success they had for much of the season, while there is still traffic below them in the standings, with the Minnesota Timberwolves riding a 4-game winning streak and sitting only half a game back. The Warriors look to be in solid position to jockey for a bona fide playoff berth as they enter the final stretch of the season. Assuming they finish as the 5th or 6th seed in the West, the Warriors could be headed for a second-round meeting with the Oklahoma City Thunder, Los Angeles Lakers or Denver Nuggets in the second round were they to advance with their recently renewed vigor and ongoing hot stretch. One anonymous NBA scout has remarked about how these teams might be dreading a potential encounter with Golden State in the playoffs, as reported by ESPN's Brian Windhorst and Tim Bontemps of ESPN. An anonymous NBA scout believes that the Warriors might be an especially dangerous team come playoff time. No one will want to play them in the playoffs. Jimmy with fresh legs and motivation. Honeymoon phase. Jimmy is a mother F, the scout said. A large part of the remarkable turnaround of Golden State's season can be attributed to the trade deadline acquisition of Butler, who is averaging 17.8 points, 5.3 rebounds and 5.3 assists since joining the team. His ability to drive to the rim and draw contact has helped open up the Warriors' offense, with shooting dynamo Stephen Curry and youngster Brandon Podmski having both seen major upticks in their production since Butler's arrival. When healthy and motivated, Butler also brings an element of intensity during the playoffs that, when paired with the defensive acumen of Draymond Green and the clutch genes of Curry, could make Golden State a serious threat. Across his career, Butler averages 21.3 points through 1,009 playoff games, having led the Miami Heat to unlikely runs to the NBA Finals twice during his 5-year tenure in South Beach. Curry, meanwhile, averages 27 points across 147 career playoff games, with the impending return of Jonathan Kuminga, who has the potential to jumpstart the Warriors bench unit. The team's combination of skill, intensity and depth could be a major problem for the young teams in the Western Conference looking to make a deep playoff run. Warriors vs Trailblazers player grades. Jimmy Butler 3 nabs a triple-double as Gary Payton 2 shines. The Golden State Warriors continued their winning ways on Monday, fighting off a pesky Portland Trailblazers team to win 130-120, giving them their second 5-game winning streak in their short Jimmy Butler 3 era. It might not have been the prettiest win, but it was full of impressive performances. Now it's time to grade those performances. As always, grades are based on my expectations for each player, with a grade representing the average performance for that player. Note: true shooting percentage (TS) is a scoring efficiency metric that accounts for threes and free throws. Entering Monday's games, league average TS was 57.5%. Jimmy Butler 335 minutes, 15 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals, 1 turnover, 4 for 10 shooting, 748 free throws, 55.5% TS plus 1. Imagine if I told you when the season started that the Warriors' first triple-double of the year would be accomplished by Butler. You just never know what you're going to get in the NBA. It was a quiet triple-double, and I don't mean that as a negative. Butler is the rare star who is more than happy to be the second or third fiddle. He always makes his impact even when it's not flashy. In this game was a shining example. Grade A plus game bonus. Led the team in rebounds and assists. Draymond Green 28 minutes, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals, 3 turnovers, 1 fell, 143 shooting, 142 threes, 142 free throws, 51.5% TS plus 4. Not the cleanest game for Dre. He had a few rough turnovers and didn't score until the second half, and while he had a fine game defensively, it always reflects on him a little bit when the team gives up 120 20 points still, and all his quarterbacking was important in this game, and he did a whole bunch of little things that helped the team get the win. Post was an absolute star in the first quarter. He had a few big threes early after the Warriors fell behind 7-0 and was controlling the paint with blocked shots and rebounds. He still hasn't quite figured out how to score inside the arc, though he certainly has all the skills to suggest that it's only a matter of time. His shooting is a game changer for the Warriors, and it's clear they're enamored with his toughness and competitive drive, as am I for that matter. My goodness. What a performance for Moody S. Some more rebounds or some assists would be nice, but 30 minutes in a fast-paced game without a turnover or a foul while pouring in 20 points on extreme efficiency. I think it's safe to say that Moody has fully arrived. Warriors urged to trade for perfect dirty work player this offseason. The Golden State Warriors, since trading for Jimmy Butler, have surged up the standings and look the part of title contender. Of course, there is the possibility that it might be too little too late, and the best teams in the Western Conference remain miles above Golden State both in the standings and in actual talent. However, with Butler, Stephen Curry and Draymond Green all under contract for at least the next season, the Dubs could be urged to go all in on one last try, even if it comes at the cost of some key members of their young corp. In a recently proposed mock trade, the Warriors would add the defensive anchor down low that they have long needed in the deal offered by Bleacher Report's Greg Schwartz. Their Warriors would add Jakob, Poeltl from the Toronto Raptors in exchange for Moses Moody and Buddy Hield. Moody, of course, would fit in well with the Raptors' young core of Scotty Barnes, R.J. Barrett, Grady Dick and whoever they draft this season. Poeltl, meanwhile, is a bit old for a rebuilding team but would fit in well with the Warriors this season. The Austrian center is averaging 14.2 points, 9.7 rebounds, 1.2 blocks and 1.2 steals, making him one of the better defensive anchors in the league. He'd be the perfect dirty work player for a Golden State team that features plenty of scoring options, wrote Schwartz, while the Raptors would likely prefer the roster flexibility offered by a draft pick instead of a player. Moody is a safe bet who was recently extended on a reasonable deal. And you fan, what do you think about Jakob Poeltl's situation? Write to us in the comments.